Welcome back. Disgraced rapper Sean Diddy Combs. A release date from federal prison has been set.
Yeah, for more, we're joined by entertainment editor Peter Ford. Good morning, Pete. How much longer will he remain behind bars?
Yeah, here's your diary date, May 8, 2028. So that's
28, okay.
Yeah, 28. Around about 2.5 years. Of course, it was October 3 that he was sentenced. But if you cast your mind back to the original days of this story, the worst case scenario for him was he was never going to get out of prison again. So whilst 2.5 years, I'm sure for him sounds like an eternity ahead, it's still a lot better than it could have been. Now, there's still a chance of a presidential pardon. That story keeps resurfacing that Trump is considering offering him that. Also, there is the appeal. If that goes through, depending on the timeline of how quickly that happens, potentially he could be out earlier. But at this point in time, it's still 2.5 years away for Diddy.
OK, Pete, let's move on. And by now, most people would have seen the vision of King Charles being heckled by a protester. We just ran a little while ago. How's the public reacting to this encounter?
Well, of course, you go online and you'll get mixed reactions. You get mixed extreme reactions, of course. Look, let's be very clear. It was one person in a sizable crowd, but it's still a problem, and it does, I think, indicate something's got to be done. They've got to rein this in, because if this does become the new norm, it's going to be a real problem. And it's so unfair to the royals who are out there, you know, doing this sort of hard slog every day, and they're being dragged down by the no-hopers, basically. You know, yesterday what the King was doing, as indeed he was doing last week was the Pope, is historic. It wasn't at this actual event, but at the other event he went to, where he was really visiting this memorial to lesbian, gay and transgender service people who really were treated appallingly by the armed services in the UK. And he wanted to redress that bad history. And now it all gets overshadowed. So there's one group called Republic. They've gone online and they have, according to their X account, they have 82,000 followers. Clearly their agenda is to be anti-monarchist, and they're saying quite clearly here, we support the heckling of well, they don't bring themselves to call him King Charles. But so this is the problem. And I think, if nothing else, this solo heckler is probably going to make them really sit up and say, we've got to get this under control fast.
Pete, off-air, Larry and I were actually discussing this, saying it's a wonder there's not more of it.
Yeah,
Given the seriousness of the allegations, against Prince Andrew, that one lone heckler is making worldwide headlines. When you think about it, it's actually probably more interesting that nobody has really heckled before this point.
I agree, yeah.
So
you've got to go to the effort of being there at the time, but you think some people might be motivated to do it. And it worries me that this might open the floodgates, but,
absolutely,
you know, moving him to Frogmore Cottage is not going to make the problem go away.
But they are acting, the Royal Family. They're moving, albeit slowly, sort of in the right direction.
All right, let's move on. And Hugh Jackman has made his red carpet debut with former co-star and now partner Sutton Foster.
Yeah, so here we are. This is their red carpet debut, as you say. We've had some pat pics. We've had fans who've stopped them and they've graciously agreed to be photographed. But this is the first time where they've actually gone out officially as a couple on a red carpet. It was the opening of his movie Song Sung Blue. Got to tell you, I've already seen 2 reviews for it, and I'm sure Hugh's great in it, but they're saying Kate Hudson is unbelievable. And yes, Oscar buzz. I haven't got the bell, but Oscar buzz already for Kate. So, look, it's been 2 years, over 2 years now since Hugh and Deb Lee split, and they've both got to get on with their lives. And Hugh, I think, has been very conscious to go with this slowly. As I've told you before, Hugh studied to be a journalist. He's very conscious of how people report on him, what his image is. And I don't think he wanted this to be, too much too soon. So, as I say, it's been a while now. They're getting on with their lives, and we certainly hope Deb Lee is too. She's a lovely lady.
Speaking of getting on with things, Nicole Kidman. Wow, didn't she wow? This was at the Vogue World show.
Yeah, isn't this becoming, well, it's new to me. I think they did do it last year, but this latest one, it's clearly getting bigger. They're putting more and more money into it. Vogue obviously behind it. Anna Wintour oversees the whole thing. This one was held at the Paramount Studios. They recreated that whole backlot feel of the old Hollywood. And as you can see there, Baz and Nicole.
Baz Luhrmann.
Baz Luhrmann and Nicole. And look, I'm sure a lot of our real movie buffs would recognise that dress. That is the Rita Hayworth dress from Gilda, which opened in 1946. And Rita Hayworth, for those who don't know, was one of the drop-dead bombshell stars of Hollywood. Sad ending for her. And that's the look that very effectively Nicole has created. I remember at that opening in 1946, I was there on the red carpet. Basically, everyone's just had their jaws dropped when Rita arrived, and Nicole achieved that same thing with Baz at that event.
We've got a bit of a grab here, I think, Pete.
Yes, have a look.
And internal thoughts, and hold. She rejects, and the hair. She kicks them back. She sees her future. Hold the thought. Keep it focused, and cut. We have it. That is an awesome day. Thank you. We've got it, gang.
It's very Baz, isn't it? Very glam, very over the top, and that Vogue event has actually started in 1922, but clearly each year now it's getting bigger and bigger. In the same way, I guess, that Anna Wintour oversees the Met Gala. Now on the West Coast, this is her little baby over there.
I think we might show you the other picture a bit later, but Kendall Jenner actually wore Nicole Kidman's Moulin Rouge outfit.
Actual one, yeah.
Which was pretty special.
Special, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.